Back to a winning studs and duds for Game 76, where the Avs win 5-2 over the Minnesota Wild. The first stud, perhaps the most obvious one for this game, is Jonathan Drouin. A 3-point night for Drouin, including 2 goals, had the Halifax homies clicking in sync perfectly for the majority of this game. But it's more than just that with Jonathan Drouin. His production is great. Seeing him return to a 50-point season here in Colorado is what everyone hoped for him, and he's one of the most efficient per-dollar goal scorers in the NHL. But what really makes him stand out in Colorado is his two-way game. Yes, the production is there, but he's been extremely effective on the other end of the puck too, helping prevent any of the bad things going on while playing next to players like McKinnon and Rantanen. Unfortunately, the Drouin thing has probably gone a little bit too well, which means he will not end up in Colorado next season, but in the immediate, that's fantastic play. Next up, you have Justus Annunen. Anytime a goalie makes 40 saves, he's going in the studs category. Annunen made 44 in this one, and one of the 2 goals against on him came on the power play, so that's just one 5-on-5 goal against for Justus. While the Columbus game was not terrible, this still felt like a nice bounce back for him, and he managed to keep that 2 or less magic number for a goaltender even when faced with an onslaught of shots. This includes a couple of big saves and a significant amount of successful penalty kill time, even if he did give up 1 goal. In particular, he just looked confident in net, flashing the leather a little bit at times and was often very square to the shots that he needed to be. A guy who certainly looks more comfortable than Georgiev has at times this season. Nathan MacKinnon seems to have a regular home here in the studs. I don't need to explain him to you. A 3-point night for him next to Jonathan Drouin, continuing to chase more Avalanche history. Just 2 goals away from a 50-goal season and 4 assists away from the Avalanche single-season record. I really think you could argue 5 of the Avs' top 6 forwards deserve to be in the studs category, but that brings us to our first stud of this game in Mikko Rantanen. Mikko takes the penalty that ultimately allows Minnesota back into this game while the Avs are on the power play in the offensive zone. Just an unnecessary bad penalty. Full stop. Can't be doing that. But there is a little bit more to it than that with Mikko. Yes, I actually thought Mikko had a number of quality plays in this game, generated some darn good chances, and even got rewarded with an empty net goal. But on a number of those chances, not only did he fail to score on them, but he missed the net entirely. Mikko is too good of a shooter on the Avalanche to be missing at the rate that he is. I won't harp on it too much because the penalty is the far bigger problem here for Mikko, but would like to see him finish against an actual goalie. Speaking of the penalty, the Avs as a whole get a dud for their discipline in this game. That Mikko penalty might not have been that big of a deal if the Avs don't follow it up with another one to give Minnesota a 5-on-3 opportunity, an extended power play look after that. The Avs seemed frustrated with the refs in this game, and while some of the calls might have been a little bit soft, I don't think there was a whole lot to argue about in this game. The Avs committed those penalties, and they deserved to be in the box. They need to do a better job of not putting themselves in that situation. While the Avs would ultimately close out this game and control the lead through the entire thing, those are bad mistakes, the type that you need to clean up and stop from happening going forward. And the final dud is the Avs' 4th line for this one. Now, I know this may seem a little bit unfair, especially with Wagner getting called up last game and Kiviranta returning from being sick, but the top 9 Avs forwards all had positive Corsi percentages at 5-on-5, and some of the guys on the 4th line had a percentage in the 20s. That's really bad. Now, some of that is because they didn't get a ton of minutes, but if you're struggling that hard to possess the puck, how is the coach going to give you more minutes? This didn't result in that big of a disaster because Annunen played well behind them. But it really does go to show how much the Avs miss a guy like Yakov Trenin when he is out of the lineup. I am not overly concerned about any of the duds in this game, though. It's pretty contained to a singular hockey game. As for the unsung hero of this one, it has to be Josh Manson. The dude was absolutely everywhere on the ice, creating plays, preventing plays, doing all sorts of crazy stuff, some by himself, some with his teammates. Manson, by far the best possession defenseman in the game for the Avs, also had multiple great chances, but unfortunately was unable to finish them. We see this pretty regularly from Josh Manson. When he's playing at his best, he can just do it all on the ice. And that's the guy the Avs are going to need come playoff time. So he's the guy who gets the nod as the extra little bit for Colorado for me in this one.